Hi, I'm Steven Shomler, your host. This is going to be one hell of a podcast, I'm telling you. One thing my sweetheart has taught me is that recipes are merely a suggestion. For this podcast, we've thrown out the rule book. We're just going to chat. We're going to take wherever the conversation takes us. I'm here at Sashimi Bar. Sashimi Bar here in Bozeman, Montana. It's probably the restaurant with the 12 best seats in Bozeman for a restaurant. I've had many people say it's the best restaurant in Bozeman, people I respect and believe. And we've got two amazing guests today, Paul Noggle and Lance De Silva. You guys are the magicians, the wizards who make the magic happen here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Okay, so you just say whatever you want to say, but one cool story is, so you guys both trained under the same chef.
Yes, Mr. Tamatsu Suzuki.
So how did each of you end up working for him and trained under him at different times?
Yeah, I started first and trained under Tamatsu for about 3 years.
How'd you end up training under him?
I just wandered into the kitchen, helping out a friend to work part-time and organize the kitchen, and Tamatsu happened to like my work and offered to train me 1 day a week.
Okay, so simplistically, this is a culinary space in Lake Tahoe, and it had both a sushi bar, sushi counter, and a kitchen where they cooked other things.
Yeah.
So you started up the kitchen part, which wasn't his territory.
No, and he didn't have time to deal with it and really didn't care. Sushi was the focus.
But he appreciated that you cleaned it up, and he let you train 1 day a week.
1 day a week for free every day was my last day for probably the first 6-8 months.
Tell me that snow story.
Oh, well, later on in my training, when I was actually working and had a station and was given some minor duties, the California rolls, the spicy tuna, the basic stuff, I was just told to go outside. Middle of winter, dumping snow. I went to get my jacket. Tamatsu says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting my jacket." He said, "I didn't tell you to get your jacket. I told you to go outside." So I went outside, Fight Club style, snow accumulating on my head, and he came out and asked me if I wanted to be there, that if I didn't want to be here, just leave right now if you don't want to be here. That he said he didn't want to waste my time, and that I definitely was not going to waste his time. And I said to Matsu-san, "I want to be here." He's like, "Well, go back in and get to work." And to this day, I still don't know what I did.
So forgive me, my background where my head goes is Mr. Miyagi and Karate Kid.
It was very much Karate Kid training. Just learn the motions, just do what I tell you to do. Just learn it, and hopefully one day you'll understand it.
So did he tell you learn it? Don't try to understand what I'm teaching you, just do it?
Just learn what I'm teaching you, and one day maybe you'll understand.
So did you ever call him back years later and say, hey?
Many times. At first I was excited, like Tamatsu, I saw the rice shine, I saw the aji change, I saw this happen. And then when he left to open up the Crystal Fish in Monterey, I would go down once a year and bring him a bottle of bourbon and some sushi toys and apologize to Matsu-san, "You taught me this, but I didn't get it. Can you please explain it to me?" And we got drink whiskey and shoot pool and talk sushi all night.
And he taught you motions?
Yeah, just like the nigiri. He took a piece of towel and made it the perfect size and texture of a rice finger, and he taught me the 7 motions.
Wow.
And I would just do that over and over again in front of my TV at home, or...
Yeah, you just fill your cutting board with paper nigiri.
Okay.
So you make paper the same size as a slice of fish.
All right, Paul, you got to get right on that mic. So tell me your story with Tamatsu.
I just found him eating there, and I really enjoyed the food, so I kept going back. And then eventually asked him if I could come work.
So we went to the same place in Lake Tahoe, and you were a customer, and you loved it, and eventually you said, "Can I have a job?"
Yeah, every time I'd walk by this place, it was closed, and I had worked at another place, and then one day I just happened to have a night off and went there to eat. Mind blown.
Like sushi you'd never had.
Exactly.
And and what was it like working for him?
It was pretty intense. You always wanted to make him happy, so I think that's what's so scary is that you want to make him happy, and anything other than that felt shitty.
Felt like you were letting him down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It still kind of does when I make a mistake.
You still hear his voice in your head years later.
Well, I mean, still, like Paul said it before, like everything we do, we try to do it to make him proud.
I mean, he has to look at this, I hope. Well, I know he does because he'll comment here and there through social media. But that always feels real good.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, he's still there.
Yeah, because you respect him greatly.
Huge.
Of course.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want to make that. I want to make that really clear. I mean, people, this is not TV. I wish it was, so they could see the admiration in your guys' eyes and sincerity. You greatly respect him, and he changed your lives.
We did, and I graduated culinary school near the top of my class. I'd been head chef at 2 restaurants. I mean, I thought I was a shit. I was 26, 27 years old when I started my training, and I just thought I was a badass. And I would just watch this guy work, and I'd worked with some great chefs in San Francisco, and I just realized how incredible he was. So it was hard at that age when I thought I was that good to drop my ego and let myself be stripped down to nothing and be rebuilt.
Okay, so Paul, Lance, you were there first. Then Paul, you trained there, and then while you're working there, you come back into town, and there's a guy at your station.
Yeah, I'm like, who's this white boy on my station?
Yeah, he was puffed up, staring at me.
Doing some chef flex.
Watching his knife cuts,
He was
looking in the eye.
he was just standing there watching me, and I'm like, "Oh, what the hell? What? Get away from me!"
So how did you guys end up becoming friends? Because you obviously like each other.
Well, so Lance was just visiting at that point, and I was still working there. Tomatsu eventually left, and then this guy Sano came and took over from Sacramento. He became the head chef of the restaurant, and I ended up working with him for like 2 years, I want to say, something like that. And then I hadn't been home forever, so I was feeling like doing something else, you know?
Yep.
So I just took off for like 2 years, went back east, reconnected with my family, and I got sick of that within 2 years, like really bad. So I wanted to get back out west. It's really hard to go from living out west to back where I'm from.
Yeah, different cultures.
Totally.
Okay, and when you came back, is that when you finally connected with Lance?
Yeah, he was the chef at the Naked Fish at that point. He was the head chef.
Lance was?
Yeah.
Yeah, so after my training, I trained with Tomatsu for about 3 years and then moved to Phoenix to help my cousin with some non-food related projects, and got sick of Phoenix. Just 120 degrees in the summer and pollution and horrible water and violence, and was craving. I had to move. Tahoe's the vortex. It sucks you back in.
So you went back to Tahoe, and was Sano there, the same guy that he'd?
Yep, Sano was still there, and
And then Sano left, and you took over.
yep,
Oh, how did that come about?
he went on vacation, took his knives, and just didn't come back. So about 3 days after he was supposed to be back, I was calling the owner. I'm like, hey, is this guy coming back? What should we do here? So I just grabbed the wheel and started driving the bus, just took over.
So then you came back, and then the guy that had been eyeballing you is now the chef.
Yeah. And then I had like my old roommate was working there too, and it was a bunch of dudes that are cool in Tahoe working there. It was a real popular restaurant, and
It was a good time in Tahoe. That was like the Wild West of snowboarding, and
And then you guys worked together. That's where you guys became good friends, I suspect.
the whole restaurant was really good friends.
very tight, very tight.
It was like a band or something. Like,
Exactly.
Okay, so this space, Sashimi opened in this space February, see if I got this right, Valentine's Day 2018. So we've got 12 seats at the bar. Those are the 12 best seats in Bozeman. And then we've got these booths that kind of like the waiting room. It's in the restaurant. People, I'll show pictures, but this is kind of like the waiting room where but this space was Valentine's Day 2018. But the first iteration was roughly 2015, 4 seats.
yeah, it was a 4-seat sushi counter, I guess.
Here in Bozeman, called Sashimi.
Yeah, and it was in a fish market had been here. They operated like, I don't know, 10 years or more. It was called Montana Fish Company. And then I just came to do sushi. They wanted to expand and do more sushi with their fish market. And then I showed up, and it wasn't really gelling like that. And I was like, here's what I can do. And so then it just kept morphing into more of what we are now.
So, but that space back then eventually became 12 seats.
Yeah,
And then that kind of shut down for a while because there was a lease challenge.
yeah.
And you'd have about a year and a half rough gap, maybe 2 years.
We
and
lost our lease.
Lost your lease.
The dark days.
The dark days, yeah, the thing. And
We were rogue underground.
We did pop-ups that were really popular around town.
now, Lance, were you around at that time? Or parts of the in and out?
Well, I came in May of 2015. Paul had been calling me couple times a week, sometimes several times a week. Just get out of here. I'm going to die. I can't do this by myself anymore.
So you were doing sushi for 12
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah, so Harumi was working with me.
I love Harumi.
Yeah, and then he ended up moving back to Japan at the end of May, and then Lance came out, I think, June, he went at the end of April. Lance came out right as he was leaving, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's jump right in where he was.
And you just came out to visit. You didn't move in your head.
Well, it was slow season in Tahoe, and I wasn't going to make a whole lot of money anyway, so I figured I'd come out here, have a vacation, make some money.
He didn't trust me.
I just wanted to make sure we were still on the same page. I wanted to make sure we were right here together.
Yeah, so tell me what Tomatsu told you.
Well, basically, when I was training, I mean, this is hard to get through on a podcast.
You just say it and I'll tell it.
My palms are close together and going upwards, and Tomatsu said, when we train, we are right here.
Right, palms right together.
Yeah, when we're right here parallel. And when we're done training, you can go over here.
Yeah, you can veer off to the left or the right.
But when you're with me, we are here. So I told Paul that. I was like, I want to make sure that we're here.
Still, because you were before.
Yeah, and Paul's a great chef. He's got a great eye for detail, an eye for quality. He was trained by the same master I was trained by. I was confident that it would work out, and we had worked great together. We had lived together and worked together, which is very difficult.
But you just wanted to see.
Yeah, I just wanted to come out and check it out.
So you came out in May, checked it out, and then you moved here September of that year.
Yeah, I came here for a vacation and ended up working 55, 60 hours a week, and after the end of the month, had my own customer base, and I liked it, and I was like, yeah, I'll come out here.
So then
I knew if he came out, he wasn't going to leave.
Bozeman's pretty enchanting, isn't it?
It is great. And coming from Tahoe, it's not that far of a stretch. It's same small town politics, mountain town mentality. And, instead of a bunch of alpine lakes, you got a bunch of rivers. And it's just like Tahoe, but spread out over hundreds of miles.
Yeah. And then you went home and loaded up your car and brought it back and moved to Bozeman.
Put everything I could in my car and just hit the road.
And then through the dark days, you guys kind of scattered and went to different places and did different things.
No, well, for the first year, we did pop-ups that were really good. And then the health department got after us because we serve a lot of raw food. And it just, they have no idea. They freak out on us around here a little bit because they're not used to it.
They had never seen anything like what we were doing. A bunch of very traditional techniques and, pickling our own saba and doing the nuka pickles and fermenting things and, a lot of very old school traditional techniques that they had never seen before, so they were bad.
That's
Even
awesome.
though we could explain how we were doing, how we were operating, standard operating procedure as far as like danger zone temperatures and.
I feel like we did a lot to help them understand
I hope so.
what's going on.
So you ever heard the phrase "first pickle out of the jar"?
No.
That's a great phrase. It means how hard it is to be the person doing something for the first time, because it's hard to get that first pickle out of the jar. Once you get the first pickle out, there's room, and the rest can come right on out of there.
Okay.
But you guys were like the first pickle out of the jar with some of the stuff you did.
Yeah. Well, the sushi bars here were the basic Americanized sushi bar with lots of rolls with cream cheese and mango and sauces all over them, and fish was not the focus.
Yeah, same standard fish, pretty much.
And we're getting in whole fish and breaking them down and marinating them and doing different jimes, which are marinades, kombu jime, zujime.
So Paul, you must have been pretty excited when it worked out that you could open here. It must have been cold as heck, and I'm assuming February 2018. This space is beautiful. You must have been thrilled when this came together, because I came off of Main Street, walked in the front of a beautiful building, and you're right on Main Street in Bozeman. You must have been thrilled.
Yeah, it's pretty odd, actually. Like, whoa.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, we're in the belly of the beast. We're surrounded by 5 college bars, but somehow we have this giant, beautiful glass door. And once you come in and that door closes behind you, everything behind you disappears, and you're transported to a new space.
You're in a different world.
You always hear people say, "Where are we?"
And I love. What did you say people call the place because of the outside on the door?
Well, yeah, we have no signage, we have no advertising, no open close sign, nothing. We just have a frosted door with a knife and a fish on it, deba and a mackerel.
Okay, and then so here's what. I'll tell you how I think it works. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you do omakase, which we'll talk about what that is. But people show up they make reservations for 5:30. That's your first seating, right? Mm-hmm. And they get one of those 12 seats, and they sit down and they get a menu that says omakase, and it says $100. And that's it, other than the cool image on the logo, on the menu. That's it. And then roughly about 7:38 is a second seating, and there's no reservations for that. So you can show up early, hang out, have a cocktail, and get ready. Someone leaves their seat, you can have it be ready for the second seating. Is that right?
Yep. If you're here for the second seating, you are locked in. If you show up and tell us you have interest and you're not ready when your seats are available, then they'll be taken by somebody else.
Yeah, because this is
Or
an
we'll
experience.
text you. If you're going to be in the area, we'll give you a
No,
shot.
I think people just hang around, have a cocktail, chill, and be ready.
That's the best. We have a great cooked food menu. We have great craft cocktails. We have a great selection of sake. And sake is not very popular in Montana, so I think we've brought about 6 labels into the state, 8. Got about 20, 24 I'm trying to bring in.
So the people that are in the, quote, waiting room sitting at these booths, they can order off of this cooked food menu, get something just to bide their time and have a nice cocktail, and when you'll tell them when the time's come to, come sit at the table.
Yep.
Or sit at the counter.
Yep.
Our customers are getting more educated all the time, and they're realizing that, hey, there's a table over there waiting for our spots, I think. So it's getting easier as time goes on. People used to just camp like all night, and
they get mad. I've been here for 2 hours. Well, yeah, we told you you're not going to sit for 2 hours.
And the reason the menu is blank, is $100 omakase, is that you're going to give often nigiri, right? Mm-hmm. They'll get some nigiri. Tell me if I'm right. You get some nigiri, you make some cooked dishes, and you'll get whatever you guys find. How do you pick that day's menu?
what do we have available?
What's good? Basically, the years that we've done this, the fish seasonally changes from different parts of the world. So we know that we don't want Thai snapper from this area this time of year. We're going to go with the curd-eye or the bronzino, or same with the farmer's market.
I'll order things, and then sometimes they just don't show up. So
Yeah.
it'd be impossible. And we're in Montana. Sometimes your flight will get bumped, and it won't show up.
Well,
So it's just a thing you're always playing around with. That's why there is no menu. It's all seasonal varietal.
That way, we don't buy from any local fish distributors. We have people we've been working with for years, so we pay cargo. They load up the box wherever it's from Tokyo, LA, Seattle, and we drive to the airport and pick the box up.
Okay, so sushi's like a big deal in New York, and people probably worry, is it fresh? But people don't realize what's actually closer to Tokyo, Bozeman or New York.
Bozeman, and the flights go into either Seattle, LA, or San Francisco. And Seattle, there's several flights every day from Seattle to Bozeman.
So the fish goes from Tokyo to Seattle, and then a short flight to Bozeman, or Tokyo to Seattle, and to New York. So who's getting fresher fish? Even though people may not think of Bozeman as a sushi place, it's fresher than you're often getting Japanese fish in New York. Am I wrong?
No, people don't realize that. I mean, we have flights from San Francisco, LA, Seattle. So as long as you know who to talk to and how to work it out, you can make it happen.
So what are some of the things that I might see over the course of a year when I sit down and when I do my omakase? And what does omakase mean?
Trust him.
Trust him.
Basically, I've never got an exact translation, but it roughly translates to.
I am not good at Japanese.
Well, at the bottom of on the back side of the menu, it says you can trust him. And what that means is, hey, the chef is going to give you what he's going to give you. Shut the hell up and eat it.
We're trying to ease him into it. It's like, you can trust him. It is with pleasure. It's from the sea.
And it's a great place to get out of your comfort zone. What I love is when people are like, don't feed me octopus. It's chewy. I don't like octopus. That means you're getting octopus. At some point, in some way, you're getting it.
Yeah, we'd like to make people try the things that they don't like or typically wouldn't order. So that's fun when you get people to flip on things.
That look of delight and surprise that's the one thing about being a sushi chef. You're looking your customer in the eye. When your eyes close and your head goes back, I've got you, man. You're my sushi zombie.
And they just get little bites, over and over and over again. Yep, exactly. Any dishes you want to mention, or fishes, or anything people might expect occasionally?
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons we're omakase, because who's going to order threadfin or striped half beak, or the ankimo, or
The variety's pretty.
Yeah, they're scared
deep.
of uni.
It's deep.
They're scared of some things.
And do you tell them before you give it to them, or after?
Sometimes after, sometimes before. It depends.
Monkfish liver always after.
Yeah, especially kids. And
Because everyone likes it if they don't think about liver.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. And okay, and any other dishes you want to mention, like the cooked dishes that they might get during the course they're sitting at the bar there?
Well, I mean, we do everything homemade. We do not make it easy on ourselves or our kitchen, and they love that. And the fact that they can come in and everything's different the next day.
Yeah, so you could come here 4 times in a month, and it's 4 different meals.
Or twice in one night.
4 different
And you
experiences.
might have different combinations.
I'm stoked we have okonomiyaki on the cooked menu.
Yes.
Because I learned that eating employee meals at Naked Fish. I had no idea what that was.
And tell me if I'm wrong. That's basically like a Japanese pancake.
Yeah, it's.
Or pizza. It's a pizza meets a pancake meets a
I'm
omelet,
pretty sure.
kind of. Or
Didn't Harumi make that at his food cart?
I think so. Yeah.
I know he did takoyaki and yakisoba, and I thought he did okonomiyaki, and that was it.
Yep.
But if my memory serves me.
Yep. And you've spent some time in You like Portland.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you love making sushi.
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. It's like people don't understand how close sushi is to being a bartender. You're just sitting there looking your customer in the face. You're assembling the ingredients one by one. And then you feed them, and you get to watch the expression. You get to watch the joy that that bite can bring them.
How about you, Paul? What do you love about making sushi?
People.
You love
Talking to people across the bar and stuff, hanging out.
getting to hear their story?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just a bigger connection.
Because you're not, no offense to traditional chefs, but they're back in the kitchen. They may never even see the person.
I've gone to sushi bars where the sushi chef doesn't talk. That's not the case here.
No.
We're really involved with talking and, I don't know, trying to create an experience that people really enjoy. That's what's super enjoyable to me, like watching them get so excited about it.
And we wanted to be like the anti-fine dining white tablecloth restaurant. We wanted to, since we're owner-operator, we have an unreal food. Our food cost runs like, 40%? But we don't.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, we don't pay management. So we worked that into our business plan. We wanted that high food cost. So we can do wild mushrooms. We can do caviar. We can do the uni and the bluefin and wagyu, the A5 BMS 10 Kobe. I mean, whatever we want to do.
And you'll go to the farmer's market and you'll listen to the food, and if it speaks to you, you'll pick it up and bring it and put it on the counter that night.
Absolutely. And people think of Montana as like a barren wasteland, but the farm scene here is incredible. The amount of varietals they grow and what they're willing to grow for you if they can. And the farmer's market has a huge variety. I'll have an idea in my head and go to the farmer's market, and those ingredients don't want to be that.
I love it.
So I'm not better than the ingredients. I'm just the vehicle they go through. So I do what they want to be.
Yeah, I don't think this is people should come here for a meal. I think they should come here for an culinary experience. It's like a whole different elevated level.
Yeah, and we try to make people comfortable, and you can be yourself. You don't have to be afraid to talk to your neighbor. Like everyone, we tell people, if you come in here by yourself, you're not alone. We're all in this together. The whole sushi bar is one unit.
It's super intimate here. So it's definitely it hasn't been for everyone. It's so tight, and someone walked in here the other day. They're like, "Oh my God, this is the smallest restaurant I've ever been into." But it's so intimate once the bar's packed and we're doing our thing.
And we just don't do things like other restaurants do. So it's not comfortable for some people. You can't get your number 3.
Yeah, you're getting what but you trust the chef.
Yeah, you must.
Yeah, that's what. Make sure I get it right. That's what omakase means.
Omakase.
You can trust him.
Well, and the beauty of that is if you go to a sushi bar and you order 5 things you've never had before and you don't like them, you're out $40-$50 and you don't like anything. Here, I mean, I can tell if you look down or you frown or if you don't like something and you really don't like it, and that's fine. Not everyone's going to like everything. I'll just pretend it never happened and we'll give you something else.
But then you can kind of know because you got a lot more little bites that are coming.
And that way the customer knows I don't like this.
Yep, exactly.
So it's also like a learning experience.
We're always trying to play with everyone's meal too each time they come and make adjustments, so it's not always the same thing.
So here's what I've heard from people: best restaurant in Montana, best sushi restaurant in Montana. My friend Tomas Slider, he's amazing. He has a palate that is just incredible, and he's been to Tokyo a lot. And he says that the only place he can get better sushi is in Tokyo. I had, right?
And that means a lot because he is a good craftsman. He does a great product at Mountains Walking. And
He's definitely very knowledgeable.
That's
about
why we
this
have his
stuff.
beers on tap.
He knows his stuff. And then I had someone tell me today that that they said, yeah, it's Michelin star quality, and they were very serious.
Wow.
And this is someone that has lived and worked in New York and knew what that meant. Very culinary, versed in the culinary world.
Yeah. I think the Michelin people would be put off at
What's Michelin?
It's what you put on your.
It's a tire.
It's a tire. It's a fantastic
it's that
tire.
big white guy.
But I'm talking about the quality of food and the experience. And yeah, it's different. We're still in Montana, and you guys are relaxed, and but it's not uptight. And so if someone wants an uptight experience, forget it. But if they want that quality of a food, this is an incredible place to go.
It feels like those are the only places that have that quality of fish, where it's more rigid and set. This is how it is, and it's way more laid back here than that.
Yeah, I got over myself a long time ago. I just got the fish, man.
But it sounds like you guys have fun. How fulfilling is it to see Bozeman respond? And you went through some dark times. Did some pop-ups, and then about 6 months of nothing, and now you're back. You've been here a year now in this space, and people love it, and the nights are booked out. And how's that feel?
It feels great. It was frightening at first. I was expecting a little more pushback. I think we've had one person come in and say, "Where's the roll menu?" It's like, we don't have a roll menu. We don't have hot sake. We don't have rolls.
I think it's always going to be scary too, just because it's always, that's just how it is. It should be. And I mean, I'm never going to be satisfied, I guess. Maybe that's it.
People want to go out to sushi every time and get their spicy tuna roll, their hamachi sashimi, and their large hot sake.
Feels well enough, but
When you guys do it, you march to the beat of a different drummer.
We just wanted to, you can get that anywhere.
Yep.
Every sushi bar, the overwhelming majority of sushi bars have the same thing. Rolls, double-decker, sauces, your hot sake, chicken teriyaki. And this is a culmination and something that was born of everything we loved and hated about every sushi bar we've worked at and eaten at, even down to no sushi case. We didn't want a barrier between us and the customer.
Nice.
We felt that was something to hide behind. It was dishonest.
You agree?
oh yeah.
This is fantastic. All right. Anything else? Anything else we need to share before we close up? I think we got the story, and I hope people get it that they need to come here. They need to bring their $100 bill, and then drinks are extra. That's just food, and be prepared for an experience, a culinary experience.
Yeah, and we have great stuff, even from very reasonable glasses of sake that are served individually, up to $40 glasses of aged Japanese whiskey.
It's all about the Japanese whiskey.
It really is.
So, I'm aware of this, but some people aren't. Japanese whiskey works really well with sushi.
Yes.
Yes, they've been doing it for a long time. That's Mr. Hakatsuru right there in the 30s.
Takatsuru.
Takatsuru?
Takatsuru.
Oh, Hakatsuru is a sake.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
See, I'm not Japanese either.
Yeah.
I lied on my application.
Now, you guys ever been to Tokyo?
No.
We're trying. We tried to go this spring. It didn't work out. Hopefully fall. I'd rather go in springtime. There's a little more going on as far as fish migration.
It took a lot of work to get this place open.
I believe it. Man, if you ever go to Tokyo, I would love to be like on a fly on the wall and film you guys. That would be so much fun.
It's going to be a good time.
And just hang out with you guys. And I bet the food experiences would be incredible. And people like, who are these bozos from Bozeman? And like, then you know.
Well,
and you've done it.
Yeah, we have contacts. We got Harumi over there.
Yeah, we have to go and hang out with Harumi.
And one of our customers, Masa, the Asian sales director for Sims. And we got our brokers in Tokyo. And
you'd have a fantastic time.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot of eating, a lot of sake. It's going to be hard work, not all fun and games.
No, I get it. Travel, it can be like that, particularly when you're in a certain, like in the culinary world or et cetera.
Oh, yeah, but we'll have fun.
Well, if you ever think about it, I got my passport. I'm not opposed, and I'll be quiet and carry luggage. I can be obedient.
You just walk in front of us with the boom.
Exactly, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm so excited for to be able to tell your story and be involved. I've had so many people in Bozeman tell me about this cool place. It's secret. Nobody knows about it. Sashimi. It's amazing. It's the best food and the greatest guys. And, having met with you and been here, I totally get it. A lot of wonderful restaurants in Bozeman, but this is a culinary experience unique unto itself than any place I've ever been in, let alone Bozeman, let alone the rest of the country. And so hats off to you guys for having the guts and the courage to say, this is what we want to do, and we're going to do it.
This is our version of how we want it to be. And I guess that's why we Well, we lost our first loan.
There's a really big thanks to those people who think that too, because they get it and they know how hard we're working at trying to do something that we actually believe in.
Yeah, those people are incredibly sincere.
And I don't have the words to thank the people that stuck with us. We have a fiercely loyal customer base that when we opened up, we probably did, almost a month and a half of private parties.
Yeah.
Just bringing our old customers back into the fold, and they're still supporting us and giving us, good recommendations.
Yeah,
good
if
word
it
of
wasn't
mouth.
for those people, you wouldn't be here now.
Yeah, I'd say thank you to those people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I think we've covered it. Thank you guys so much for being.
thank
I loved to interview you. Cheers, everyone.
If you have time, come on in.